Welcome to Podnutz Daily, episode number 183. I'm here with Mike Motto, who I recently found out I was pronouncing his name wrong this whole time, calling him Moto, but it's Mike Motto. Isn't that right, Mike?
Yep, that's correct.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, Mike.
Oh, no problem. My pleasure.
And Mike is a computer repair technician. And what's your website again, Mike?
It's www.m as in Mike, F as in Frank, L as in Larry, S as in Sam, T as in Tom, C as in Charlie, computer.com. MFLSTCcomputer.com.
Gotta love that name. Well, what do you call the name of your business?
It's MFLSTC Computer Repair.
Oh, I'm sorry that's laughing. It's just a mouthful to say.
Well, it is. And my people know me by my name, Michael Motto, and my poor mom, if they don't know the name because they can't remember that, they call my mom and she gets the phone calls because my home number isn't listed. So
well, Mom
she
has to
became
deal
part
with
of
it.
she unwittingly became part of my computer repair business.
Yeah, she's like, customer service, or she's your receptionist, whatever you want to call.
Exactly. She doesn't mind. So.
That's good. Well, thanks for joining us. And, as we're doing with the new format in Podnutz Daily, I'm having computer technicians, from the field call in and, go over some of the stuff that they've been running into as far as computer repairs. So before we get to that, Mike, I just want to make a quick announcement again. This is your last week to pre-order the laptop repair videos that are going to be released September 1st at podnutz.com. If you want to save a little money and buy them ahead of time, you can do that. Just go to podnutz.com and you will see the links for that. Okay, Mike. Well, why don't we just get started here? Why don't you tell us what's going on over there with you and what you're running into?
Okay. The latest one I got in is a Dell 4300 desktop. And the guy told me basically when he would push the button to start it, nothing would happen except the power light would blink orange.
Okay.
So usually my first thought is power supply or, the board itself would cause something like that.
Right.
So what I did was the first thing I did was checked the power supply, and believe it or not, it was the power supply. So that was an easy one, except the fact that you need a special power supply for a Dell because they're built a little differently than your regular power supplies.
For a 4300?
Yep. It won't fit and it won't match up.
Is that one with is that a black case or white case?
Black.
Oh, no kidding. I didn't know you needed it. I thought that was a standard one. My bad.
Nope. If you can't turn it upside down and around enough to make it work.
Is it a dimension?
Believe me, I tried.
Is it a dimension?
Yep, Dimension 4300. And if you look them up online, they do look a little...
one of those. I hate those. These are the ones we call them suitcase Dells because they open up like a suitcase.
Yes. I'm sorry. I should have told you that. Yep.
No, that's okay. Yeah, I hate them. But you're right. Definitely, the power supplies are a little goofy in them. All right. So, So what did you find?
Well, basically, it was the power supply. So what I did was, actually, I went on eBay and I was trying to look for new ones. I didn't want to. It's an older computer, and he already bought another one, so I didn't talk to him. But I just bought 2 used ones on eBay. So
how did you know it was the power supply? Because it's getting an orange light, so it means it's getting some kind of power, right?
Right. It was just because it was blinking and the board itself had the little green LED lit. So yes, it was getting power, but it didn't seem like it was getting enough to even turn anything on. So it was just I didn't even get my power supply tester out. I just threw a power supply in because that was the simplest way to go. For the easiest thing to try.
So you tried another power supply, you just weren't able to fit it in.
That is correct. Yes,
and it worked.
I actually hooked. Yeah, I actually hooked another one up, and luckily, that the wiring pattern on these newer Dells is the same as regular power supplies.
Right.
I don't know if you knew that or not with the old ones. Did you ever run into that?
The wiring's all the same. It's just the length of the wires I think is kind of goofy on those suitcase ones.
No,
right?
Right, but I'm talking about like older Dells. Some of the ones that are probably like 12 years old now. You could plug a standard power supply into it, but Dell switched 2 of the wires, and what you would do is you'd blow the motherboard out if you didn't use one of their power supplies.
Wow. No, I didn't know that. I don't work.
Yeah,
I don't work on 12-year-old computer. Yo, you found out the hard way, huh?
Yes, I did.
Wow. Well, I was going to guess it was RAM, but you switched out the power supply and it worked. So that's good.
Yep.
Because in my experience, when you're getting any kind of light, it might be something else because the power supply at least is getting some kind of power. But if that's what it is, that's what it is. So.
Well, unless, I booted it up with the other power supply and everything came up now. I didn't leave it run a real long time. So, maybe if I get that power supply and let it run here an hour, maybe I'll find another issue.
Maybe, but I guess with RAM it would have beeped. So I think you got it right.
Yeah, there was no beeps or nothing.
Okay.
I mean, it was just the light faintly flashing, and that was it.
All right, good. All right, good diagnosis and good fix. Well, that's one down.
Lucky.
Yeah, right.
A lucky one with the power supply, an easy one.
What else you got going on?
Well, another one is it was a custom built, and it was built by another local shop here, a competitor.
Okay.
And I actually had this one in once before for a problem. And you'll like this one too, because this was really interesting. The guy told me that he could not get on the internet. It's very slow. And it was just working very slowly. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I did was hooked it up and tried to boot it up. It booted up slowly. I went to go on the Internet Explorer, and the computer locked. I shut the computer off. The computer would not restart.
It wouldn't turn on or it wouldn't restart?
But it would not turn on, dead.
Huh.
Nothing. So, of course, that always gives you a real warm, fuzzy feeling when that happens, because, now it's like, what happened? The guy said it was working. It was just internet.
Yeah.
Well, I decided to try a power supply. And I put the power supply in, and the computer booted up fine, went in, and actually went on the internet. And I'm thinking, boy, power supply and internet, there has to be two problems here.
Right.
So got it up and running, and there was actually a problem with the internet. It would one time it may go on quite quickly. The next time you'd open up Internet Explorer or Firefox, you'd get an error that it couldn't find an internet connection, and nothing changed. So what I did with this particular unit was I upgraded it to Internet Explorer 8, did all the other updates that it was missing, and there was actually an update for the onboard NIC. There was a update for that too, and I did that just thinking